How do you find your target audience? Welcome to this week's episode of the Blender Business Show. I'm your host, producer Jemmy. Well, before you find your target audience, you have to first understand what one is. According to the American Marketing Association, quote, a target audience is a specific group of people that are likely to be interested in your product or service. A target audience helps you focus and tailor your marketing to a group of highly interested individuals instead of trying to reach everyone, end quote. In fact, to that last point, I see there being two complementary advantages to properly identifying your target audience. Number one, you get your product and service in front of the people who actually want it. And number two, you don't waste your time or money getting your product or service in front of people who don't want it. Sally Clark Keene puts it this way in an article on WordStream, quote, if you're trying to reach everyone, you're going to reach no one. People might see your ad and take a look at your website, but your ad and your message won't resonate with anyone if you don't have a specific audience in mind, end quote. And Salesforce takes this idea a step further. As they put it, quote, marketing efforts that don't reach the perfect target audience waste valuable time and money, not to mention risk disconnecting with potential prospects. The last thing you want to do is leave potential customers scratching their heads. If you know who they are and what they want, you can make sure the question they ask isn't, who is this for? But, where do I sign up? End quote. Now, let's go one extra step. Because sometimes you hear the term target audience, and sometimes you hear the term target market. Are these terms one and the same and interchangeable? Not exactly. Your target audience is part of your target market. So everyone in your target audience is in your target market, but not everyone in your target market is in your target audience. As Adobe explains, quote, a target audience is a narrower segment within the broader target market. It's defined by shared characteristics such as demographics, psychographics, behaviors, and interests. So a target market refers to the overall group of people or businesses that a company wants to reach and serve with its products or services, end quote. So let's say people interested in health and wellness make up a target market. But, quoting Adobe again, quote, a target audience may be women between the ages of 25 and 40 who are interested in health and wellness, end quote. I'd like to take a moment to talk about Pedialyte. Yes, Pedialyte. Pedialyte, if you're not familiar with it, was founded in 1964. And for years, it was marketed towards parents as a great way to rehydrate their children, in particular for babies and young children who are getting over being sick. It replaces lost fluids and electrolytes due to dehydration, especially from, and I apologize in advance, vomiting and diarrhea. Yum. It's made by Abbott Nutrition, who also makes another product marketed to the same target audience, parents with small children, but for a slightly different purpose. PediaSure is primarily designed as a complete nutrition supplement for children who may not be getting enough nutrients from their diet, like really picky eaters. And picky eaters tend to be younger children. So they are two products, Pedialyte and PediaSure, that are marketed by one company, Abbott Nutrition, to essentially the same target audience. Again, parents with small children. But in the 1980s, a group of customers started understanding the benefits of using that first product, Pedialyte, for themselves. Athletes! Gatorade had become a go-to for athletes looking to rehydrate and reintroduce electrolytes into their system after workout since it hit the market in the 60s. But athletes in the 80s started to realize that Pedialyte could offer the same kind of benefits and results. But it wasn't until 2015 that Abbott Nutrition took notice. And they started testing the potential growth of this new target audience through marketing efforts, including social media campaigns and working with influencers. They even began pushing the hashtag Team Pedialyte to see if it would stick. And they loved the results. So in 2020, Abbott Nutrition dove all the way in, launching a specific product for athletes called Pedialyte Sport. I remember when I first started seeing athletes full-grown men and women drinking out of Pedialyte labeled bottles on ads on my TV screen. And I was like, wait, what? I was very confused at first, but that's okay because true story, I'm not much of an athlete, at least not anymore. So I did not understand this push to a new target audience, but my confusion was okay because I was not part of that target audience. But Abbott knew what they were doing. They reformulated their Pedialyte product to even better serve this new target audience. The new product had a higher concentration of electrolytes and a lower sugar content, making it even more appealing to the athletic audience. And they sealed the deal with an altered name label, Pedialyte Sport, further solidifying its presence in the athletic hydration market. They paid attention to their customer base, saw their target market had grown beyond their expected boundaries, defined that new target audience of athletes, and tailored a product specifically for them. Brilliant! And the interview I have for you today illustrates how beautifully this conversation and relationship between your business and your target customers can flow when you have clearly defined your target audience. In today's bonus rewind episode, we're going to hear portions of my conversation from Laura Mays, co-founder of the Mom 2.0 Summit, which previously released in full as episode 16 of the Power Moms podcast. This episode is brought to you by Flintstone Media. Listen in. Welcome, Laura Mays from Mom 2.0 Summit. Oh my goodness, I'm tickled pink to talk to you. I kind of accosted you a little bit behind the scenes 2 years ago in Scottsdale. I'm like, I just need to talk to her and meet her. But you're so nice. And to have you on the show is such a treat. So thank you so much for joining me today, Laura.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I have to say, I'm only one of the founders.
Yes,
I'm one founder with Mom2, but also Carrie Pacini is my co-founder. And also Marla Trevino has been there with us from the very beginning. So I am one of a larger group, but it's not a very large group. We're kind of a small and mighty team.
The first question I have is, why is Mom 2.0 called Mom 2.0?
Oh, great question. Well, when we first started this, we first started talking about it. It was like 2007. And at the time, I don't know, listeners, where you were in your lives at that point, but I hope
you weren't buying a house.
Right? It was like 2007. The world's falling apart. Like, it would be great. Let's start a business that's a conference. Like, so stupid. Like, we just did whatever we wanted. So I shouldn't say we did whatever we wanted. We just didn't pay it. We were like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
We want to get together. Sometimes the need is greater than the obstacles. And
what do they call it? Wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? Just ready to go.
The need was definitely greater than the obstacles in 2007. And my background and what I was doing at the time, my background's in PR, and I was running a PR firm or PR group inside of a larger marketing and advertising agency. And backing up a little bit more to 2005, I went on maternity leave late in 2005 and had a very generous maternity leave and had a lot of downtime for the first time in my life because I've been working since I was 14. So it was like the first time I still was working. Obviously, I have a new baby. I'm doing all that stuff, but I had never not been having to show up at a job every day for the first time in my life since I was 14.
Sure.
It was a little, and I was 34. So it was a little confusing. And also I didn't know how to have a baby. So I was Googling, what do you do when the baby is, how do you get them to sleep? How do you get them to, whatever you're trying to get information.
All the questions. Yeah.
And what were popping up were mom blogs, or even the early days, 2005 is quite early days of blogging. Platforms weren't even totally available yet. People were coding their own blogs, or maybe Typepad was around. I'd have to look. But it wasn't much. WordPress wasn't out yet. It wasn't much. And maybe Blogger had just come out, which was the first kind of bigger platform that people used. And anyway, long story short, I found all these mom blogs doing this research, that's strong. Being this desperate searches in the light is more accurate than actual research. But then I came back to my job, and I was running the PR group, but also the media relations group inside of it. And I said to our crew, hey, one of our clients was reaching out to moms, like their target market was moms. And so I said, let's just do an experiment. Let's try. You guys keep pitching the people you're pitching about whatever you're pitching for from a PR media relations perspective. Do what you're doing. This group, let's just only focus on mom blogs. Let's just reach out to them, just look at what they're wanting, see what kind of response we get from that. And the group that reached out to mom blogs way outperformed the group that did the other. And so to me, I was like, oh, okay, my job might be changing. Like, our jobs might be changing, guys. And this is like, I don't think I would say going to like media is changing or that sort of thing, but there's something in the air. And this does circle back to your actual question, which is at the time, that was in 2005. By 2007, people were like, oh, new media. There's new media. And so this is before social media. That hadn't happened yet. This was new media. And at that time, the internet was internet 2.0. Everything was 2.0. So this was kind of media 2.0 in that sense.
Gotcha.
But we were focusing so much on moms because at the time too, the new media it really wasn't kind of funneling in different categories. There was political blogs, there were sports blogs, there were, tech blogs.
Oh, tech blogs,
and there were mom blogs. Those were kind of the big four. And the three really were dismissive of the other one, like the tech, sports, and
political
were really dismissive of the other one. And you can imagine the makeup, the geographical, psychographical, demographical makeup of the three.
Yeah, we can all guess.
You can all guess. And so the three and traditional media coined the phrase mommy blogs as kind of a pejorative and dismissive term.
Right. It's very condescending.
Very much like, oh, those mommies just doing like we're doing big and important things and the mommies, whatever, mommies. And so we were like, oh, no, you're not reading what's happening over here because it was very much a sacred space. They were talking about tech, politics, and to some degree sports, but mostly tech and politics and life and lifestyle and so many things. And we were like, oh my God, I wish, like, what would the trajectory of the world be, or even my own life, if like my grandmother had had that opportunity, if she had had the opportunity to even like sit down for 5 minutes and write on a piece of paper what she was thinking, and that had somehow lasted.
Yeah.
But like, what if she could put
almost like the recipe for life instead of just the recipes that that get passed down traditionally,
and all the subtext in between, like what was she thinking, what was happening, what was going on in the world, in her world. If she could share that, if I had that to read, how fantastic would that be? Just to know even what she was thinking at a given time, and how much would her life be different if she had the opportunity to tell her story? How much would my city be different, or the town be different, or the world be different if women and moms in particular had the opportunity to hit publish and they were published and anyone could read it? And as a woman in Texas, I could read, or a mom in Texas, I could read what a mom in North Carolina or a mom in Florida or a mom in New York or a mom in Seattle or a mom in Africa or a mom in Asia or whatever, if they were thinking at that time. And opens your world. Like, it just makes your world bigger. My world has gotten so much bigger since 2005 because of hearing the stories of other moms and other women, et cetera, et cetera. So Mom 2.0 came about because I don't do short answers. I don't do sound bites. I'm so sorry.
This is why we're podcasting. It's long form for a reason. I love it. Keep going. Keep going.
I lived in Houston at the time, and Carrie Pacini and Marla did as well. And Carrie and I used to always meet up at these, we'd go to these tech meetups at the time, or even, I don't know if it was social media. Social media wasn't quite a thing, but like just tech startup meetups kind of in Houston. And we would go and we'd be like some of the only girls in the room, and we would find each other and talk, and everything everyone else was talking about, no one was talking about the kind of our experience of the internet. And so she had started this sort of like, the best way, it was called Op Mom. The best way to describe it is like Facebook for moms, like before, when Facebook was just in colleges, like Facebook wasn't a thing yet. I mean, it was, but only if you were in college.
Right.
And so it was that for moms. It was really, really well done. And we met and we were like, it would be so great if, I'm reading all of these blogs and all of this stuff. It'd be great. And I'm seeing emerging new industry opportunities. I'm seeing marketers come into this space. I'm seeing media come into this space. I'm seeing how everyone's kind of reacting to each other, sometimes perfectly, sometimes terribly. And like, wouldn't it be great if we could get everyone in the room and have a conversation between moms, marketers, and media to establish this industry? Essentially, there was, Blog Her was around. I think it started in 2006, 2005, maybe even, but it was more hobbyist and it was more issues oriented and which is great. And what we were looking for is just real more industry focused stuff and more niche. Blogger was quite large and we were looking for something smaller and focused on the business of this new industry and kind of bringing together like a leaders conference, an industry leaders conference to talk about what works, what doesn't work, and a networking opportunity, because that didn't exist. And for this group that was really trying to make a business out of it. Yeah. So that's how Mom 2.0 came about.
That's amazing. And let me tell you, as you're talking, I'm reminiscing because there's so much parallel in the history you just shared with the history of podcasting and the birth of various niches in this space, which I've been very proud to be a part of. Some I've witnessed firsthand. You walk into a podcasting room 10 years ago and there's a certain demographic that's 99 out of 100 of the people that are there. And to see how that has been able to evolve, because through this new media of podcasting, people have been able to take some power into their own hands, come together and break down those geographical barriers, and it's when you're talking about how much your world has expanded. You're reading stuff from a mom in China, in Malaysia, in Europe, whatever. It's the same feeling and love that I have for this space because I get that same experience. I get to talk to people all over the place, and it's allowed for people to break through those barriers that have been formed by society over decades and millennia. So to have you tell that history, it's felt so familiar to.
They all overlap. It's like a tapestry where everyone's story kind of comes together. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how long has Mom 2.0 now been running? How many years?
This will be 17.
17 years. Oh my gosh. What problems, when you were originally creating Mom 2.0, or even right now in its current iteration, what problems do you hope that Mom 2.0 solves for women who attend?
I hope it gives them a place to network. There's not enough of it, especially in real life. As we've gotten more, this is like the two sides of the coin. There's the great things about just being so far flung. The mom bloggers, we always say, gave birth to the influencer movement, and it's really true. And and podcasting is so similar to original long form blogs or sharing online, only like so much better because you get so much more conversation and video. And everything just iterations get better and better and better. But back to your question, it is the only place I know of that people who do what we do, who are women, who are moms, can connect with other people who do what we do, who are women, who are moms. And to your point earlier, there's a different language. There's a different architecture. There's a different structure and strategy and whatever to get through the day. And there's a shorthand that people have about that. Like, you don't have to deal with, it's like, oh yeah, we already speak the same language. We don't have to deal with all that other stuff. Right.
Right.
So it's efficient. It's like an efficient networking opportunity, and moms need more efficiencies in their lives, and they need more networking opportunities. So we hope, and we structure the whole thing to be that. We also want it to be informative, like a place where people can get the information that they're looking for, no matter, and it's a big industry. Like, there's a lot. It's not just one thing. There is podcasting, but there's also marketing, but
retail.
There's also running your business. There's also, how do you do your taxes? How do you do, there's a lot that, as we all have to think, it's like looking at the inside of our heads, honestly, looking at the programming. We want it to be like looking at the inside of your heads, like what you've been thinking about And so we want to have the opportunities for people to have access to a lot of different things and a lot of different information. And they can pick and choose what's working for them right then. Or if you can't attend everything, and you can't attend everything because you're not
you split yourself apart.
Split yourself like Hermione with the time splitter or whatever. I think that you can also find the person who is teaching that and reach out to them later. Or
Very
find
true.
them in the hall or whatever. And speaking of that, third is hall conversations, which goes back to the networking, because so much of the magic happens in the hall, talking to the brands who are literally there to connect with the people who are there. It takes out all the pretense. We always tell the brands who come and who support this industry and everyone there, they're like, what should we bring? We're like, the best. People are not looking for swag. They're not looking for like more stuff in their lives to take with them. The best swag is your business card, like, or your connection or whatever. So connections are the best thing that we hope people leave with, that they leave with 3 new pieces of knowledge, 3 new business acquaintances, and 1 magic moment. Like, that's we hope for everyone. And then we just kind of build the stage and get out of the way.
Yeah.
To where let whatever's going to happen. You can't orchestrate the magic. You can't produce magic. You can make space for it, and it becomes what it wants to be.
And you make a great space for it. But
Yes.
do you ever have an opportunity to just sit in the audience and take a moment and absorb and live in that moment and be present and kind of soak in some of the magic that's happening on the stage? Do you ever get a chance to do that?
No, not
I had a feeling that was going to be your answer.
I mean, like, does any bride or mother of the bride or whatever do that at their own wedding? No. I will say one lesson there is to like, let go of your expectations, let go of everything, like be present in the moment. This is like a life lesson for all of us.
Don't
like,
get caught up in the minutia, right?
Like sometimes just like let it go and be surprised and be in the moment. I guess it's good. You're giving me a good lesson to move into this 17th Mom 2 is that I need to have more moments like that.
I can't thank you enough for being present for this conversation and giving me so much of your time today, Laura. I can only imagine everything that we spoke the other day, and you're like, how did you put it? It's like a game of whack-a-mole, right? Everything that's going on right now. And so thank you for taking time out of your game of whack-a-mole as you're preparing this final leg of prep for this conference and talking with me today. And I really, truly appreciate it. How can people follow, watch social media? Where can people really connect?
I would say, yes, mom2.com is our website. On Instagram, we're Mom2 Summit, MOM number 2. Summit. And I feel like that's a really good way. We're on Facebook too. And also we're on TikTok, but I think for real, most engagement, most get information back and forth, I would say Instagram. I think that's it. I think that's it.
Well, Laura, thank you so, so much for connecting with me today. I really, truly appreciate it.
Thank you. I so enjoyed it.
So welcome to my Sticky Note Quickie for this week's Blender Business Show. I really enjoyed that conversation with Laura Mays, as it is such a great illustration of the value of defining and knowing your target audience. I want to replay a quick clip from that interview that really hits the nail on the head.
It is the only place I know of that people who do what we do, who are women, who are moms, can connect with other people who do what we do, who are women, who are moms. And to your point earlier, there's a different language, there's a different architecture, there's a different structure and strategy and whatever to get through the day. And there's a shorthand that people have about that. Like, you don't have to like deal with it's like, oh yeah, we already speak the same language. We don't have to deal with all that other stuff, right?
Right.
So it's efficient. It's like an efficient networking opportunity, and moms need more efficiencies in their lives, and they need more networking opportunities. So we hope and we structure the whole thing to be that.
And what I shared of that conversation was only about 17 minutes of what was a 56-minute interview. So if you want to catch my entire conversation with Laura Mays from Mom 2.0, I'll put a link in the show notes to episode 16 of the Power Moms podcast, so you can listen to everything she shared. Well, a great way to hack knowing your target audience is to be your target audience. That allows you to have a target audience you already know because they are so much like you. For example, when I was at my first Mom 2.0 Summit in 2023, I met and interviewed some of the vendors there who were moms themselves and had created a business that filled a need for moms. For example, there was Carly Causey, co-founder of a line of high-impact sports bras called Jen and Carrie, made for women who are new moms and have all the lactating issues that come with that. She was a very active new mom and couldn't find that product already out there in the market, so she built a business by being her own target customer. Then there was Michelle Brandress, who created the innovative labeling business called Name Bubbles because she couldn't find a durable enough name label product on the market for her needs as a new mom. And there are other great examples as well if you want to take a peek at the initial episodes at powermomspodcast.com, which were all recorded at that Mom 2.0 Summit in 2023. But not only had they built a business where they were their own target audience, but they were there as vendors because they knew those halls would be teeming with other moms who would also be their target customer. See, when you're a representative of your own target audience, then you already know where they are. You already know how to reach them. You also already know their pain points. Refer back to episode 2 on the alchemy of turning prospects' pain points into pure gold for more on pain points. I'll link to it in the show notes for you, just in case. So essentially, you just imagine targeting and talking to yourself. And if you have friends who are also like you, which is likely, they can act as an additional sounding board and focus group for you. As another example, I'll just use myself. The target audience of this show are people just like me, small business owners trying to crack the code of growth and opportunity through content creation. But what if you don't represent your own target audience? Let's say you're hired by a company to run its marketing division, but their target customers are very different from you. How do you reach them, and how do you speak their language? It involves a bit of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. But it doesn't have to be as haphazard as that sounds. Find those places where your target audience does congregate. Then study them and engage with them. Such places can be Facebook groups, meetups, industry events, etc. And spend some time just sitting back and observing them, making note of what demographics are represented the most, what issues they tend to bring up to the group, and what kinds of solutions to those problems the rest of the group tends to suggest. And once you've spent some time in those groups, don't be afraid to then be direct. Ask what drew them to be part of that space. Ask what problems they hope to solve by being there. And another highly effective strategy is to consider the audience of your closest market competitors. Who are they targeting and attracting to their sales funnels? Study your competitors and take some good notes. Once your target audience becomes more familiar to you, you can then more clearly define them and do the work to target them. And as a helpful tool, I found a fantastic article written by Marketing Evolution and called Steps to Find Your Target Audience. So you can find the link to that in this week's show notes. And on the next episode, next week, I'll be talking about networking, which can be an awesome way to reach your target audience. And that episode is bursting with impactful ways to do it. So see you next week. This episode was brought to you by Flintstone Media, my podcast production house and consultancy firm. In fact, you can email us at blender@flinstonemedia.com. Thanks for listening. If you are a business owner, marketing manager, or content creator, join in the conversation with other Blender members on our Slack channel, which you can find the link for, along with everything else, at blenderbizshow.com. And as always, you can get more details and show notes about today's show, connect with our featured guests, and join us on social media, also by going to blenderbizshow.com. So, what happens when you blend creative content into your business? I'm producer Jemmy, and I look forward to bringing you those valuable ideas and great stories every week on the Blender Business Show. We are the Blender community, where business and media mix.